The Oregon Trail, a game about an old video game or based on an old video game that I've never tried. So this is not a review that is colored by nostalgia, value. I don't have that, so you will only hear the opinion of somebody who has played this game and who is evaluating this game. This is a game that, as far as I understand, it's a Target exclusive, and I have to say I'm really happy that Target is investing on board games. They're expanding their offer of board games. They are now distributing games, I believe, maybe taking a role in the production of these games, and this is great because I think it's a great moment in our hobby. But if the people that love the hobby find their games only at conventions where only people in the hobby go, specialized stores where only people that already play board games go, or buy them on websites that, you guessed it, are known only by people that already play board games, then we do not do much outreach, and sooner or later the hobby is going to die out, no matter how vibrant it is at the present time. We always need new blood. So to me it's great if we have gateway games like Pandemic and Ticket to Ride and that kind of game at Target or in Barnes & Nobles, in stores where people may just decide to pick up a game just because they're browsing the shelves for the stuff they're looking for a present for somebody. That is awesome to me. Also, there's a cooperative game, which is another great opportunity because outside of our hobby, there are many people that have never played a cooperative game before, and I know every time that I teach Pandemic as an entryway game, as a gateway game, then there are a lot of people that do not know that concept. So the idea that it could be what looks like a nice, cute cooperative game that maybe you will pick up because of the video game, and then later that will draw you into the entire board game hobby. That to me is great. What a great idea, what a great opportunity. Too bad that it was completely wasted because the idea is great, so much opportunity, and the execution is awful. This is simply one of the worst games that I played in a very, 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 very long time. Just terrible from every point of view, to the point that actually I barely would define this as a game. The rule book or the rule sheet, oh, that's great. They kept it short, which is great for new players that do not play many games, so they will not be scared by the rule book. Too bad that it's pitifully vague and constantly you will have to make judgment calls and then decide what to do because the card texts are unclear. There are things here that are not touched upon that you really need to know to play the game. Go online and look for the rules, all the rules threads on Board Game Geek, and that may help you. Just, you know what, don't do that. I just changed my mind. Scratch that. Don't do that. That's like taking this game way too seriously. Just make it up. Make it into a drinking game. Every time that there is a problem with the cards, you understand the text, you take a drink. You will never finish the game because you'll pass out before, but maybe you will have had a good time before then. The game, you're trying to go from here to here with your party of heroic settlers. You will use this deck of cards. Everybody will have a hand of cards from this deck, and you will play these cards and will try to survive every time, and you will connect the cards to one another, forming a nice little trail. When you have 5 cards, you stack them, you make a stack, and so that's a stack of 5. So that takes a little less space, and when you have 10 such stacks, if anybody in the party is still alive, the party wins the game. And you have a little over 50 cards here, and you need 50 to win the game. That means very little variety from game to game. Yes, maybe this card will come out before this other card, and next game, oh, excitement, it will be the other way around, but that really won't give you any surprise. There won't be much variety at all. What happens, you play a card and you implement the text described on the card. In many cases, you press the space bar. Okay, that's just flavor, it doesn't do anything. And you draw a Calamity card. Now, I like that. Not in like 10 seconds. Don't go around doing something else. You need to do that now. In other cases, you roll a die. And I had to attach stickers on it. Now, maybe now I'm complaining about too many things just because I dislike the game so much, but it was kind of annoying. Also, the cards came, I kid you not. Just like this, not in the usual shrink that we have with cards, simply held together by a rubber band. That's strange these days when we buy a game. So sometimes you roll a die to determine what happens. Maybe you roll an even number and you ford the river, hooray! You roll an odd number and you lose a supply card. That's great. But then do I ford the river automatically? Do I need to roll again next turn? Somebody else needs to roll? What happens? I don't know, but that's such a small detail. Why would you put that in the rules? Calamities. So when you're not, usually when you're not drawing, we're not rolling to determine what happens, and when you haven't found a town or a fort, you draw a calamity. Again, there's also some blank cards, but a lot of cards will force you to draw calamity cards. And you're very excited. Oh, what a fun game. Oh my gosh, we're gonna travel, have adventures. Oh, it's my turn, I'm gonna draw a calamity card. Oh, okay, I'm out of the game. That's it. People can be kicked out of the game simply like this. No warning, no possibilities of doing anything. Super mega annoying. Contrary to all that I believe about good game design. In many other cases, what happens, and sometimes it's silly supplies, that's fine. What happens in many other cases is that the calamity needs to be remedied. That is, it stays on the table and players have a round to play supply cards that will remedy that calamity. For example, let's see, for example here, you need to play spare parts card, a spare parts card from the supply deck to repair that. One round of play without repair and everybody in your party has died. Which sounds cool enough, not really, but at least it sounds acceptable, if not for the fact that that round means the time from the player to the left that drew the calamity until the game goes back to that player, which again sounds fine until you take into account the fact that the game doesn't scale in any way based on the number of players, because if it's 2 players, it's me and you, boom boom, oops, we're dead. If we have 6 players, oh, that's gonna be a walk in the park. It's gonna be easy. One of us will probably have that card. If you don't have a card, you can trade 2 cards with the store to get a card that you need from the supply deck. Thematic, not at all. Like in the middle of nowhere, all of a sudden you can convert the bullets and waters into something that makes no sense whatsoever. So thematically makes no sense. Game-wise, it's completely uninteresting. There is never a reason why you would trade 2 cards to get 1 card if you had that 1 card. So it's not like there are any tough, interesting decisions. If you have a card that you need, you play it. If you don't have it, and the alternative is to die, there isn't any intermediate thing, you know, okay, I'm going to take a penalty to avoid a penalty or to get a certain advantage. If we're all going to die, we're simply going to do it. We're going to trade those 2 cards to get another one. That, at the end of the day, is the big problem. There aren't many decisions in the game, and there aren't any at all that are interesting. Oh, by the way, it looks like I'm going towards the conclusions. Yeah, because there isn't much else that I have to say about the game. You play a trail card or a supply. The trail card very often generates obstacles. You draw a calamity. You suffer the penalty. Very often you have to struggle with unclear wording of the text on the card. Sometimes you have to sit out for 2 rounds, which is completely like, what is this, 1974? It's back in the day that we used to give timeout to players. If the purpose of a penalty in a game is to reduce your chances of winning the game, then there are other ways of doing it. For example, consuming resources. But I came to play a game. I should be playing the game all the time when I play the game. So you have some penalties that are okay, some penalties that have very unclear wording, like this one. If 2 inadequate grass cards are face up, then 2 oxen die. But that means that after I play 1, it just stays there until another one comes out. Doesn't mean that and then and what happens? Then it stays there for the rest of the game. How do I remove it? One round of play without the auction card and everyone in your party has died. Okay, I get it, but that doesn't mean that if the card stays there now every round we have a play on auction. A lot of these things that as soon as you start thinking about it and try to implement them do not make much sense. So play your trail cards, draw calamities, play supplies from there, and continue like this. With a lower number of players, most likely you will die. With a higher number of players, you have better chances of winning. Either way, you don't get any satisfaction because the game is completely luck-based. There aren't any interesting decisions. My favorite part in the game is probably this little board here, dry erase board, where on one side you write the name of the people on your party, and on the other side you write their name when they die, and you may add a little bit of narrative to describe how they died. And getting a little creative, in there is probably the only thing that really makes this game interesting. No, it doesn't make it interesting. It is the only part that is fun as you are being in pain playing this game. I just cannot believe that from the moment somebody came up with the idea, let's make a card game about the Oregon Trail, to the moment the game was released and stored on and stocked on the shelves of Target, that anybody that knows anything about modern board game was around this game, was in the same room with an intermediate phase of the project. The game, to make little, was not play tested. Somebody, I don't know, maybe they were in the meeting room but they thought, oh, why don't we make that game? Oh, that's great. I wish we knew something about games. Oh, wait a second. Bob plays Monopoly with his grandma every Christmas. Oh, well, let's give the project to Bob. Then Bob wrote down the rules, wrote down the text of the cards, and sent them out to print. Somebody says, oh, why don't we do the graphic a little different? And that was it. I just can't believe that there was any thought that was ever given to actual gameplay. It felt like it was never play tested, never were people in the position of trying to catch any bugs, any loopholes, double check the wording. So many situations are not covered in the rule book. So many cards make very little sense. So you're struggling to understand the game that doesn't have many decisions in it to start with. To me, there's just no redeeming factor, no redeeming value. Some people may be attracted by the theme, nostalgia value. They want to have it on their shelf because they look at it and they think, oh, how much fun I had when I played the Oregon Trail. I like to have a box with that name written on it. So maybe there is that nostalgia value, and some people won't find value in that. The fact that my favorite thing is this one that has nothing to do with gameplay, or it tells you something about what I think about the game. Again, also people that will buy for nostalgia value, they're buying for something that doesn't have to do with the design. To me, this is a trap, simply to trap the nostalgic players and buy something that unfortunately has no gameplay value, which is sad, which is very sad. Such a great opportunity, as I said, to show a good game in a place where people that do not usually play games may pick it up. If somebody doesn't know play games, pick this piece of garbage up. I don't know, maybe they get discouraged and they get pushed away from the hobby. So they're not drawn into the hobby. I don't think that they will feel like, oh, let's play more stuff. Again, maybe I am misjudging the target. The will be players that turn it into a social game. They're chatting. They don't want a game that makes them think about gameplay as they chat, and they only want to, I don't know. But again, those players probably will not one day upgrade into hobby board gamers. In any case, to me, it's a missed opportunity to attract new people into the hobby. It's a game that to me has no redeeming value, just $12.99 that I will never get back. That's how I conceptualize what I think of the Oregon Trail.